Well, hello, Sarah and Mike Chappell.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending some time with us and talking to us.
Absolutely.
We want to say thank you because you are the sponsors. You and Laughlin Service Funeral Home are the sponsors for the Clue Workshop, which is about 30 plus students today, all from the Tennessee Valley high schools, and they are studying with Joanna Glushak, who plays Mrs. Peacock, and Clue, who's amazing, has done like 15 Broadway shows and counting. And they also get to have pizza lunch and see the show all for free because of sponsors like you. So we want to shine a light on that, and thank you for that because that means everything to us.
Such a privilege to be
Good.
able to do that. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
And also want to talk to y'all about you and your family who have been here from the beginning, basically, for BTL and have such a long history. Can you tell us a little bit about that and also like why student outreach is so important to y'all personally?
Absolutely. So my family were season ticket holders just about from the very beginning when Broadway Theater League started in 1961. They always encouraged the arts for my brother and I to come to shows and to go see things. So then I was a high school thespian. So, you know, theater was a big part of my life. I was in theater, I was in choir. And then when Mike and I married, he became a theater teacher. So for 30 plus years. So, you know, so obviously theater students have always been a big part of our life. Excuse me. And so when Broadway, as an adult, we had a family business, the Spencer Companies. And so when it became something that I could do as far as a sponsor, then we jumped on board as a sponsor. One of the first years that Broadway Theater League had a sponsor, and back then there was just show sponsors.
Okay.
And the first show we sponsored was Secret Garden, and so they were just trying to increase awareness and increase funding, you know, to bring in shows. And so we were able to do that. And then the first year that Les Miserables came here, we had to take it for a full week. Because it was only touring for a full week. And so that was the first year Broadway Theater League had a season sponsor, and the Spencer Companies became the season sponsor.
Okay.
So Mike was teaching at Butler High at the time, and so we were at a after show party. And he loves to tell the story about how he bumped in.
I was getting coffee and I accidentally knocked over this guy's coffee, and he's the guy who had played Marius.
Okay.
And I said, "I'm so sorry, but you were wonderful in the show." We chatted for a little bit. He asked what I did. I said I was a high school teacher. He said, "I would have done that had I not done this." And I said, "Hey, what do y'all do during the week while you're here?" And he goes, "Get really bored." And I went, because she had given me tickets for my students to come to the matinee.
Oh, great.
And I said, "Would you come talk to my students?" And he went, "Yes." He said, "And can I bring somebody?" And he yelled to the girl who played Cosette. He goes, "Hey, Barbara, you want to come talk to this teacher's kids?" And they went, "Yeah." So they came the day after. 100 of my students had gone to see them that day. My principal, who's really big into the arts, let everybody out. And they stayed for an hour and a half, sang for us, talked to us. And the last question of the day, one of my students said, "Do y'all go together? Because y'all really look good together." And Barbara said, "As of yesterday, we were dating." So we stay in touch. And
well, it's Ron and Barbara Sharp, who are the Sharp family singers that are on the internet sensation. During COVID, their whole family are singers. So
they
anyway,
said they'll never forget Huntsville because it's where they fell in love.
So Les Mis brought you together?
Yeah,
so many people.
Yeah. But that was part of our sponsorship, is that I was insistent on, because I knew he had a lot of students who'd never been to a show, never seen a show, would never have the opportunity to see a show. And so them coming to the school was just a bonus for that. But so we've been sponsoring pretty much ever since, and encouraging these type of events and workshops, and been proud to be a part of bringing students just to give that opportunity.
I love that. I love that story. Well, that answered like the next question already, so that's good. But so that was the first time Les Mis played here.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because I was looking at the.
I believe it was mid-90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice Ripley was.
That's what I was gonna say.
And a bird had gotten into the Civic Center, and I remember at
That's
the
right.
matinee going, "That's not supposed to be in the show."
Oh.
Years later, just not what, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
whatever,
she came. To
She
the
came
workshop.
back, and our son sang a duet with her.
Oh wow.
So we all went out afterwards, and I went, "Hey." Well, she went, "You remember the bird?" She goes, "I'm singing, you know."
That's-
I think she was.
She was Fontaine.
Fontaine, yeah.
And
Oh,
she said, "I am
yes.
singing Dream a Dream," thinking, "Get that bird away." It
That's
was,
funny. And
There's
that,
a bird in the South Hall right now.
Oh really? Oh, wow.
no,
You know, another funny thing is that when Les Mis played here that first time, when of course the turntable, but when the barricade turned, the audience went crazy.
Oh wow.
And Ron and Barbara said, we've never had an audience respond that way to the barricade, but Huntsville's so full of engineers and
Oh,
and
sure.
high tech people
They were
that
so
they had
impressed.
such an appreciation for
Right.
that, you know. So Huntsville has put itself
That's great.
on the map as a great supporter of the arts,
Right.
and we're just really proud.
So
to be a
which
part
do you
of
like
that.
barricade? The turntable or video boards?
oh, turntable.
Oh, turntable, 100%.
Me too. Me too.
Oh yeah, I'm anxious to see how that works
We're-
with the
we're
video
purists.
boards. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Les Mis without the turntable, but we'll see.
The
Right.
video boards are amazing.
I bet I can.
Oh, I'm sure it gives
it
it a whole new dimension.
And they were the first tour to implement video boards.
Okay,
Cool.
okay.
Yeah.
And they had the artwork from Hugo.
Oh,
Is the
wow.
artwork
Very-
that's
yeah.
Even when
Yes.
Mike directed Les Mis at Huntsville High School, we had a turntable. So it's like I can't
Oh,
imagine
nice.
not having a turntable for
Right.
that show. So.
neither can he.
Yeah,
No, I know.
yeah,
I'm-
because you were there
I'm-
and you.
Yes,
yeah,
I'm very
yeah.
curious too, but I am. It's going to be hard for me.
Sure,
Yeah, to
sure.
like just separate and be like, it's okay,
Yeah.
accept something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm
So-
excited to see it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But let me ask you too. So, you know that we got accepted membership into the Broadway League a few months ago,
Wonderful.
which is a big deal
Absolutely.
for Huntsville and Alabama because we are going to put together the first regional awards program. Targeting spring of 2026, and then we will finally be able to be part of the National Jimmy Awards in New York City, and we will be able to send the two winners to New York City for 10 days and have like the best platform to get their careers going, basically.
absolutely.
So we're very excited about that, and I know y'all are. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and like,
No, I think that's fabulous. We actually looked at trying to start something for Alabama. Mike has a friend who was in charge of the Schuler Awards for Georgia.
all right,
And so we were really looking at how we could do that. And this has been years ago when he was still teaching. And so, I mean, I think it's fabulous. That, I
You
don't
know,
know
when I heard about those and she invited me to go see them, I thought, I'm going to go see a high school. I mean, it was like being at the Tony Awards.
right.
It was unreal.
Is,
It
yes.
was unreal. It was televised. You know, huge event. Schuler Hensley was there, welcoming everybody. It was so she reached out and said, Alabama needs, and she goes, Huntsville's the perfect place to start. But it was where to start and how to. So the fact that y'all are on that path and what that can do for the kids, for the teachers,
Exactly.
it's unreal. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fabulous.
It's interesting because there's just so many boxes you have to check off in order to become a member. So it's just been such a challenge for the state of
Sure.
Alabama, but we just happen to
But
check off all
kudos-
those boxes.
Well, and
so.
kudos for you, because I know you were very instrumental in
It
doing
was
that
definitely
here,
like
so.
right when I started
Yeah,
talking to Andrew
yeah.
about working
Well,
for
and you
Broadway Theater
knew-
League.
But
and-
your
Yeah.
expertise
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what they need
Yeah.
to get that started.
Oh well, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I mean,
So we're very
I'm
excited.
yeah. So let's do it
Don't
together.
give him
Absolutely.
a bigger head than he
Oh.
already has.
Well, it
No.
leads me to my
Well-
last question. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, Josh Groban, of course, hosted
Yes.
last year, and he said, you want something done, hire a theater kid. And that's
Oh,
just,
true.
it's like, that's so true. It doesn't matter what you do in life. At some point, you're going to have to get up in front of people. You're going to have to give a speech. You're going to have a presentation. You have to do something. So even if you're not going into theater, there's so many things that theater and the arts do to
Life skills.
life
Right,
skills.
right.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely.
that's a huge part of why we want to be a part of all of this.
great.
Is because it doesn't matter. Mike's had students before that have become lawyers or doctors or other things, other occupations that have nothing to do, teachers, that have said just the confidence it built, just the fact that they're they're on time. They know how to work on a deadline. They know how to work on a budget. I mean, there's so many life skills that,
Right.
that the theater builds.
Absolutely.
That, you know, so,
That's great.
And that is how you make a perfect sound back.
yeah.
Ah,
You want something done? Hire a
Hire
theater kid.
That's it,
Absolutely.
theater kid.
Absolutely. So, you know, I mean, like I said, I was a theater kid. I didn't go into that, didn't have any desire to go into
That's
that.
what I
but
wanted to
it-
ask you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I didn't know if you were a theater kid or not because I know that we grew up in Huntsville.
Yeah.
And I went to Grissom.
I went to Randolph.
We went to Randolph.
Huntsville.
Huntsville, okay. And so I know when I was at Grissom, none of this existed,
Right.
of course. And we didn't have actors from the tours
Right.
teaching us and letting us see the shows for none of that happened. So I think if little Kip theater kid had that, I would have
Oh,
freaked out.
Sure.
The fact that Joanna Glushak is out there right now
Right,
teaching these students, and was in the original cast of the Broadway Les Miserables. I know I keep saying that, but
Yeah.
it's so like
It's huge, yeah.
huge to me. It's like the ultimate credit.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot about that, and that's why I wanted to get your opinion on that in the
Sure.
high school.
Well, and I
kids.
love the fact that, you know, she asked the kids, she said, are y'all from the same school? And they said no. And she said, but y'all all know each other. And that's the wonderful thing about theater is these kids, they see each other at competitions and they act together and they're involved in the community together. And so
Right.
it's